And welcome everybody. We are going to begin the chapter The Spider and the Fly, which is a fable written by Mary Howitt. What is fable, dear children? Fable is a fiction which have few characters, and characters are often animals and having human attributes. It has a story. It has one story which gives you a moral lesson at the end of the story or the poem or the verse. This is the story of this is in the form of conversation between spider and the fly, where the spider is predator and fly is prey. Predator means the जो शिकार करता है, and the fly is prey जो शिकार बन जाती है. Now look at the meaning of the word flatter. What do you understand by flatter? Flatters are good words, the words of praise when you don't mean it. Lavish praise and compliments on someone, and often it is insincere and with the aim of furthering one's own interest to fulfill one's desire. So, flatter is not a good thing. Have you ever flattered anyone? Why did you do? What was its effect on the listener? Flattering people sometimes is very interesting, as when you flatter someone, definitely who doesn't like praise, the good words? So listener generally carried away by the false praise. Even if it is false, the listeners thinks that it is truth. Imagine that you have two friends. One keeps on praising you endlessly while tells you how intelligent, beautiful and clever you are. The other often points out your mistakes and asks you to improve. Which of the two friends would you like to trust more, and why? Definitely, I am sure that you will be making the friends who will trust you more and give you the right direction, not just by giving the false praises. One has to point out the mistakes in order to have a good life, a fulfilling life. A good friend is required, but not the flatterers. Let's read the poem. Will you walk into my parlor, said the spider to the fly. 'Tis the prettiest little parlor that ever did you spy. The way into my parlor is up a winding stair, and I have many pretty things to show when you are there. Oh, no, no, said the little fly, to ask me in is vain, for who goes up your winding stairs can never come down again. I'm sure you must be weary, dear, with soaring up so high. Will you rest upon my little bed? Said the spider to the fly. There are pretty curtains drawn around, the sheets are fine and thin, and if you like to rest a while, I'll snugly tuck you in. Oh, no, no, said the little fly, for I have often heard it said, they never, never wake again who sleep upon your bed. Now, what is the meaning of these lines? As you see, the poem opens with a dialogue between predator and the spider, predator and the prey. In the first stanza, we observe the spider alluring whom? Trying to attract the fly to his parlor. He tries to trap the fly by saying that he has many pretty things to show her inside the parlor. The spider portrays his home as a mysterious place, as the prettiest little parlor, to trick the little fly into his web. The fly understands. Fly this time is acting wise. So fly understands that it's a trap and rejects his invitation by saying that she knows that whoever goes in there never comes out. Here, winding stairs means the stairs which are in winding form like this. Round, round, round. This is winding stairs, and tis is the short form of it is. It is. Have you shown when you are there? I have, oh no, said the little fly, to ask me is vain. In vain means useless. There won't be any result. For who goes up your winding stairs can never, this is the short form of never. Come down again. I'm sure you must be weary. Weary means you're tired. थका होना. Dear, with soaring up so high. क्योंकि fly है, she is flying high. She is soaring up high, मतलब ऊंचा उड़ रही है. Will you rest upon my little bed? Said the spider to the fly. There are pretty curtains. Curtains means पर्दे. Drawn around means उसका घर बहुत ही सुंदर है. And if you like to rest a while, I'll snugly tuck you in. बहुत अच्छी तरह से उसके comfort का ख्याल रखेगा. The spider is trying to convince the fly. Oh no, said the little fly, for I have often heard it said they never wake again who sleep upon your bed. तो जो तुम्हारे बेड पर सोते हैं, क्योंकि फ्लाई दिस टाइम इज़ वेरी सिंसियर एंड वॉइस, शी इज़ एक्टिंग वॉइस एंड इज़ नॉट carried away by the attraction the spider is portraying about his house. See here one thing that at the rhyming scheme, what's the rhyming scheme? Just see, this is A B B, they, then when C C, then high, again high and fly again A, fine and you are in, then B. So in the first stanza the rhyming scheme is A B C, and there are things. Now let's move to the next stanza. Said the cunning spider to the fly, dear friend, what shall I do to prove the warm affection I have always felt for you? I have within my pantry a good store of all that's nice. I'm sure you are welcome. Will you please to take a slice? Oh no, said the little fly. Kind sir, that cannot be. I have heard what's in your pantry, I do not wish to see. This time again the fly is acting wise, and in this stanza the spider tries to befriend the fly by calling her dear friend. He wants to establish a false bond of friendship and affection in order to lure the fly into his home. Again he tries to persuade the fly to fulfill his wish by offering her good food from his pantry. The fly is, however, determined not to be tricked by the cunning spider. This she tactfully refers to the spider as a kind sir and tells him that she is not interested in seeing what he has to offer because she already knows what is there. Let's see what is there in the next stanza, how the spider is determined to trap the little fly into his home. Sweet creature, said the spider, you are witty and you are wise. How handsome are your gauzy wings, how brilliant are your eyes. I have little looking glass upon my parlour shelf. If you'll step in one moment, dear, you shall behold yourself. I thank you, gentle sir, she said, for what's you are pleased to say, and bidding you good morning now, I'll call another day. Here in this stanza, it seems now the fly is getting trapped by his words because the spider has used flattery. Sweet creature, said the spider, you are witty, you are very wise, you have good sense of humor, you are intelligent. How handsome your gauzy wings, gauzy, translucent, transparent and shiny wings this is. How brilliant are your eyes. I have little looking glass, the mirror, upon my parlour shelf. If you step in one moment, dear, you shall behold yourself. Means if you will see the mirror, you will be entrapped by your own beauty. I thank you, gentle sir. So this time the this fly is little bit soft because the spider has not given up. This time he tries to flatter the fly into doing what he wants her to do. He calls her a sweet creature that is witty and wise. He acknowledges the fly's smartness and decides to convince her by repeatedly complimenting her. He also compliments her appearance, that how handsome are your gauzy wings, how brilliant are your eyes. He wants to show the fly how beautiful she is by offering her a looking glass to look at herself and appreciate her own beauty. The point to be noticed that until now the spider had been asking her to step into his home. But now, will you walk into my parlour? like it was in the previous stanza, but now he has changed his course of action. Now he is trying to flatter by praising her beauty. Now let's see what is there in the next stanza, how the spider is going to trap the little fly. The spider turned him around about and went into his den, for well he knew the silly fly would soon be back again. See the rhyming, den again. So he wove a shuttle web in a little corner sly. Shuttle webs means बहुत ही कॉम्प्लेक्स टाइप का वेब उसने बनाया, कहाँ पर, कॉर्नर में उसके. नाउ ही इज़ कन्विंस्ड that the fly would come again, so he is getting ready to trap it, and set his table ready to dine upon the fly. Then he came out to his door again and merrily did sing. बहुत खुशी से वो गाने लगा. Come hither, hither, pretty fly, with the pearl and silver wings. Now see here, this is metaphor. Pearl and silver wing. When comparison is made, the comparison is implicit, मतलब direct comparison है, उसी जगह पर उसको अगर रख दिया जाता है जिससे comparison किया जा रहा है, then it is metaphor. Your robes are green and purple. Again here it is metaphor. There's a crest upon your head. Crest upon, this crest is metaphor. Your eyes like the diamond. This is simile. Like, when like or as is used, this is simile. But mine are dull as lead. Alas, alas, how very soon this silly little fly, hearing his willy flattering words, comes slowly flitting by. With buzzing wings so hung soft, then near and nearer drew, thinking only of her brilliant eyes and green and purple hue. Hue means color. Thinking only of her crested head, poor foolish thing, at last up jumped the cunning spider and fiercely held her fast. He dragged her up his winding stair into his dismal den. Now see here, now dismal den. This is when the same sounding words are repeated, then this is alliteration. So this is alliteration. Fiercely held her fast. This is also alliteration. Now see here, the spider went into his den. The use of word here, the use of word den is vital. Traditionally we associate a spider with a web, but den gives a certain authority to the spider. It makes the spider come across as a strong and superior creature than the fly. He is confident that the fly is flattered and will soon return to him. He weaves a subtle web in little corner to trap the fly. He carefully sets his dining table and waits for the fly. He refers to the witty and wise fly as silly. Now this witty and wise fly is silly now that he knows that he has fallen into his trap. The spider eagerly goes to the door and calls out to the fly, come hither, with the pearl and silver wing. So now fly wants to hear more of the praise, and to hear the praise he has gone to स्पाइडर. वो स्पाइडर के पास गई कि और उसे तारीफ़ पसंद आ रही है, तो वो दोबारा उसके पास गई है टू लिसन टू द प्रेज, कि उसकी ब्यूटी की और तारीफ़ हो उसके लिए. कम हिदर, हिदर मीन्स यहाँ आओ, यहाँ आओ. प्रिटी लिटिल फ्लाई पर, एंड हियर buzzing wings, buzzing is the sound. The hung soft, near and nearer drew, the green and purple hue, color, and that jumped, dragged, मतलब खींच कर खिलाना. Dismal means hopeless, जिसमें ज़रा सा भी पॉजिटिविटी ना हो. Within his little parlor, but she never came out again. And now, dear little children, who may this story read, to idle, silly, flattering words, I pray you never give heed. Unto an evil counselor, close heart and ear and eye, and take a lesson from his tale of the spider and the fly. Heed means to pay attention. Now see here, the spider, alas, alas, the spider seems even more confident now. The weapon of vanity, vanity means जो तारीफ़ किया जा रहा है, खुद की तारीफ़ में ही जो पूरी तरह से मशगूल हो जाते हैं, that vanity is the word for that. So weapon of vanity worked out for him, and he finally deceived the fly to succumb to his evil desire. उसका जो भी desire था उससे वो अब उसका डिज़ायर फुलफिल होने वाला था. द फ्लाई इज trapped by the spider's flattery and decides slowly to approach the spider's web. The fly is engrossed in her own beauty and thinks only of her brilliant eyes and her crested head. कि उसकी कितनी सुंदर आंखें हैं और crested head है, उसी में वो पूरी तरह से engrossed है. Taking advantage of this moment, the spider jumped and pounces on her fiercely and catches her. The spider quickly drags her up to his winding stair and then to his den and finally to his little parlor. The fly's words finally held true for her own self, as well as she never comes out of उसके घर से वो वापस नहीं आ पाई. Now see, in the last stanza, too idle, silly flattery within, I pray you never hit. The poet carefully transformed the story into the message to the children. Reading the poem, the poet advises and warns the children not to pay attention to the flattering words. She asks everyone to take a lesson from the story of the spider and the fly and asks them not to commit the same mistake that fly committed. Right? So when you are listening to the flattering words, must try to distinguish between praise, the real praise, and the flattering. This is the poem. Hope you have enjoyed. Now let's do this part. In the web chart given below, mention the various luxury things that, according to the spider, furnish his parlor. You can do it of your own, like the spider is a good bed, curtains, pantry full of delicious food. So you can write it like that. The spider tries to lure the fly. Lure means attract the fly. Lalach dena. Praising her beautiful appearance, chart given below, mention the various praises that he used. What he used, you can well write ki gauzy wings, diamond like eyes, crested head. These things can be written here. In the poem, the spider tries to tempt the fly by offering her various comforts. Complete the table given below by filling to the fly's response to his various offer. Now the fly can see many pretty things in his parlor. Fly response that she is wise. She is not getting. This time the fly is not carried away by what the spider is saying. So what is the fly's response? And the fly can see many pretty things in his parlor. So, but what is the reply? What is the reply? She says, "Oh no," said the little fly, "to ask me is in vain, for who goes up your winding stair can never come down again." And next part is, the tired fly should rest in his parlor. Again she says, whoever sleeps on his bed never wakes up. The fly should eat a little delicious food. And she says that she already know what is there in his pantry. So she is not interested to seeing the pantry. The fly should look at her beauty in the looking glass in the parlor. And she again refuses to get to see the looking glass. Now let's do the question answers quickly. And before we do the question answers, let's find what is the main theme of this poem. You know, the spider and the fly reveals the story of a cunning spider that allures a foolish fly with his magical words and finally makes her fall into his trap. The spider tries to convince the fly to step into his home. He tries to entrap her with the promise of showing her some pretty things in his home. But the fly offers. The poem found out two examples of each of similes and the metaphor. Simile is what? Simile is a figure of speech in which a likeness between two different things is stated explicitly. Means जैसे comparison किया जाता है किसके साथ? As और like के साथ. Like your eyes are like the diamond and bright, but mine are dull as head. Here the fly's eyes have been compared to the diamond and the spider's eyes to lead. And metaphor, pearl and silver wings crest upon your head. As you know, the metaphor is a figure of speech in which a word or phrase denoting one kind of object or action is used in place of another to suggest a likeness of two different things. It is directly placed at its place, like pearl and silver wings crest upon your head. Read the extract given below and answer the question that follows. Dear friend, what shall I do to prove the warm affection I have always felt for you? I have within my pantry a good store of all that's nice. I am sure you are very welcome. Will you please to take a slice? Why is the spider called cunning? And the spider is called cunning as he is trying to lure the fly to trap it by flattery and glib talking, smooth talking, जो तारीफ करके जो flattering किया जाता है, that is glib talking. How does he in this line try to lure the fly? He in this line is trying to offer good food from his pantry. In this line he is for spider. How does the fly react to the offer made by him? The fly answers back by saying that she has already heard about his ill-famous pantry and she doesn't want to see it. Sweet creature, said the spider, you are witty and your ways. How handsome are your gauzy wings, how brilliant are your eyes. Have a little looking glass upon my parlour shelf. If you will step into one moment, dear, you shall behold yourself. Who is this sweet creature? Of course, the sweet creature is fly. Why is the speaker praising her so much? The speaker is praising her so much to lure her into his parlour where he could trap her to eat her up. Do you think this creature is really wise, or why and why not? Initially she was wise, but later on she gives in to the praising words of the flattering words of spider. No, this creature is certainly not wise, as it fall here should be it fall prey to the predator's smooth talking. In the beginning she showed some wisdom and did not get tempted by the interesting offers made by the spider. Later, when the spider makes false praise of her beauty, she gets carried away and finally becomes the food for the spider. The spider turned him round about and went into his den, for well he knew the silly fly would soon be back again. So he wove a subtle web in a little corner sly and set his table ready to dine upon the fly. Why did the speaker turn back to his den? The speaker turned back to his den to wave a shuttle web. तैयारी करने वाला कर रहा था कि अब उसे खाना मिलने वाला है fly का. How did he know that the fly would soon be back? He knew that the fly would come back as the tone of talking of fly, this would be of fly, had changed. She was no longer firm and started believing what the spider was saying about her beauty was whatever the spider was saying, that whatever the spider was saying about the beauty was truth. Is he able to dine upon the fly? How? Of course, yes, he was able to dine upon the fly by lured by the flattering words of the spider. The fly actually wanted to see herself in spider's mirror. Lost in her thoughts about her beauty, she drew closer and closer to his den, and the spider was waiting. He jumped and caught her and dragged her into his den, where he dined on her. Now, Hott's high-order thinking skill. What is fable? Why is the poem called fable? Fable are work of fiction or sort of with characters. The characters in the fables are often animals and with human attributes, and at the end gives a practical moral lesson. Of the various offers made by the spider, which one does the fly find most difficult to resist? The fly could not resist the flattery words of spider about the beauty, and she fell to the smooth talk of spider to see herself in his looking glass. Initially, when he was praising his house, she was not carried away, but when he started praising her, she was entrapped. Life skill. It is easy to flatter, it is hard to praise. How will you differentiate between your true friend and flatterer? It is easy to flatter in the sense that they are spoken easily and freely without attaching too much meaning or sincerity to them. They can change as easily when the flatterer does not need the person anymore. while it is hard to praise because a praise has element of truth and honesty and it does not wane means मतलब खत्म नहीं होता है when a person is no longer when the person is no longer useful. I can differentiate between true friend and a flatterer by seeing and observing their traits. A true friend would stand by me in all thick and thin. सुख दुख में साथ रहेगा. ऐसा नहीं है कि दुख होगा तो भाग जाएगा. She would be supportive, guiding and even critical when required. मतलब अगर मेरे में वो खासियत नहीं है तो वो उसका क्रिटिसाइज भी कर सकता, बुराई भी कर सकता. On the contrary, a flatterer is selfish and opportunist. Now values. True friends are hard to find. True friends are greatest asset. Narrate an incident when some friend helped you in your time of need and you realize that a friend in need is a friend indeed. So you have to narrate your own story. So everyone has their own experience. So you can elaborate, narrate your own story and write it here. Writing skill. The spider wants to invite the fly to his home. He drops an invitation card at home. Make an invitation card. Here you have to make an invitation card for the spider inviting the fly to the dinner. You make this invitation card. I hope that you have enjoyed this fable poem. Thank you and bye. Bye bye. Keep smiling.